I'd like to at this point, like, call in, and maybe Kim does a lot of grid work, so maybe she could do the grid work on the quantum container to balance out the grid for us. And I can bring in, like, the Fey Kingdom, and we can bring in, like, the water and see what the water diva has to say about this.
Directional and elemental divas and kingdoms.
The Earth Kingdom, the Air Kingdom, the Ether Kingdom, the Fire Kingdom, all the different kingdoms that actually together create. It's a biodynamic system that creates
all interrelated, that
life.
Creates what we call reality or life.
And
or
life,
nature and
physical life, plants, trees, from bugs, the creepy crawlers, as the Native American Indians call them, all the way through to the
angels.
Angels,
The Divic Kingdom.
So equalization of wealth is what Kim is saying.
Yeah.
Responsible farming, no reliance of fossil fuels, end of hatred and isms. In other words, all the divisive ideology on the planet. No racism, sexism, sizeism, isms. Sure, grid work for sure. There are kingdoms of elementals who form the grid. So that's part of it. So what other things can we actually put into the field that would be a benefit for the field, for us, for the Earth itself, for the Earth ship? Actually,
nothing that. I mean, if you're going to have an organizational body, let's say, what we call a corporation, but I think we need a new name. I think we need, if you are not working in coherence with the ecology, in a self-sustaining way, in a biodynamic way, you simply cannot exist. You can't have a charter. You can't contract.
So let's do the things that we like that. Your idea of a new system or a new collaborative, integrative system instead of a corporation would be what, Chris?
Yeah, instead of calling it a corporation, a collectivization or what was the word we made up? Communityism or some communism, which has gotten it
has a bad connotation.
I think they did that on purpose.
Sure.
Sure. But communityism or collectivization or commonwealthhood, something where it's just something that's much more.
Connotation. Collaboratives is what Kim just put.
Collaboratives. That's a good word.
Mm-hmm. And then compassionate. I'm just reading what Kim is saying. Love, compassion, ethical leadership. And we all are leaders in some form or another. So not to have some system where it's a pyramid scheme, where there's a hierarchy that I'm the boss, I'm the benevolent dictator, So it's more like we all have our specialty, and the ones that have their specialty in certain areas, they can be, if you like, they can be the leaders in that area because they have that specialty, they have that knowledge, they have that propensity to be able to share that with others, as opposed to coming from a place of I know all about this and I'm the queen of this. It's more like a specialist. It's more like let's share our knowledge and share it together as a community, so that we can all learn and benefit from each other. So you may teach me, about being accountability, and I'm talking about like numbers, where I may teach you how to milk a goat. So there's many different things.
It's a complete free exchange system,
right?
Really, like what they've called a barter system, but it's even beyond that because barter just connotates it's a moneyless exchange of goods. This is an exchange of, say, not only goods but ideas.
So, like Kim is saying, is like a wheel or like a circle where You know, it's a full, it's a biodynamic system.
It would look like a flower of life or an isododecahedral structure. Right. Instead of a two-dimensional triangular pyramid structure, it would have many, dodecahedrons within it. It would look like a flower of life, spherical, many-dimensional thing that's all working together in a kind of hive mind, but in an enlightened
Kim also, so you could read it as well, she also saw the flower of life kind of system. So see, here we are, like we are being given this container, we are being given these ideas through the divas, through, we're picking it up in the quantum field
of
how to create it, how to create this. And also to ask, I'm asking the divas, and I'm asking like the creative beings to assist us, still being in this like archontic, I guess I want to call it, because we still have banks, we still have that structure that still exists. It hasn't collapsed completely yet. So somehow providing us the ability and liberating maybe resources that we have that are ours but that we can't access, to liberate that so that it can be flowing towards these different systems, these new systems.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I'd like to put into the container that gets liberated, and that the beings that we know are human beings that can assist us in liberating that they finally, somehow in the quantum field, that they get it and they respond, and they're responsible, and they want to co-create this with us, and they want to participate in liberating these resources so that we can create these containers.
Right.
So I want to put that into the field. That's my request to all the divas and all the beings and everything. So
good.
So what else can we put into the container? Ask, the different divas to assist us with.
I would say the general uplift of the human consciousness and speeding that up even faster than it already is, and maybe injecting that with something that causes more receptivity in the human synapses or the noosphere, the collective consciousness, that something that causes that field to be even more dynamic and receptive and expansive.
More awakened people. Yeah, that's what he's talking about, Kim, is more awakened people. So what can we put into our container that will be the friction, okay, to cause the sleepers, as I like to call them, a lot of the starseeds that are asleep, a lot of the human race that's asleep, that are definitely not awake to this, to like all of a sudden start to spark each other and wake up, and to put that into the field so that we have a mass consciousness that is finally going, no more of your archaic structure, your paradigm is over, and that we actually start shifting it. Because it's really interesting. We have a very, caring, I'd say, friend of ours that I connected with here in our local area that was helping with the removal of the reptilians, the removal of all the really bad ETs, let me put it that way. And they've been doing pretty phenomenal work. And I've been feeling that. It's like they've been communicating with me in certain ways that have been pretty amazing. And one of the things that, so they're helping to remove the agenda, if you like. That the ones that are helping the controllers see into the future and see how they can change, and be ahead of us. So that's been a big help. I think so. That's the other thing that I want to. Now that we've removed that, now it's time to wake up the masses, of our humanity, to realize that we all have to do this together in some form, like form groups in different areas and start to wake up and start to stand up to basically stand up for our rights, ourselves, our rights, our community, our water rights, our air rights, our right to breathe, our right to eat, all the basic. I mean, we're talking about basics here. We're not talking about, I have the right to have a 10,000 square foot mansion and five cars that guzzle up gas, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about elemental human rights, fundamental, to our livelihood.
Well, look at how we defer or fob off things like law and medicine and politics to the so-called experts who we've now seen have totally sold us out and who are total traitors, almost all of them, but for the activist judge or lawyer or politician like a Ron Paul or Bernie Sanders here and there. But for those types, they've totally sold us out, and I think part of it is to say to the collective consciousness, so put something in the bowl that says to each and every body, mind, and spirit on the planet, you can stand up and speak.
Right.
You can stand up and talk. You can go to City Hall. You can go out on the street. You can, you are much more than just this clockwork sort of fleshy machine that's sort of just making money and paying taxes and just kind of running around in circles.
Yeah, and why are you paying taxes anyways?
Well, right. Well, that's a whole other
can of worms. We'll do that whole other can of worms in another show.
That's a whole other show or series of shows with common law and taxes and all that. But quit feeding into an archontic, draconian system. That's just all it's doing is defrauding you and taking your green energy, your money, and sucking it into a black hole for all these, military projects, stuff that's directly funding the undermining of you and your ecology.
So here's what Kim is saying: put all that into the reclaim into reclaim our rights to air, water, and land.
Yeah.
Right.
Take your rights back. That would be all part of this, part and parcel of this kind of say to the lockdown, repressed individual who just does not believe they can do anything. They're just powerless.
We're actually literally putting this into the container.
Yeah. So you're saying to the repressed individual, the one that says, I have no say so. Going, does your political vote really count? Where is it going? Who are these people that assume, who act as a proxy for your political power, your legal power, so taking your medical rights back, your legal rights back, your nutritional rights back, your ecological rights back. You can, it's very expansive of the self and who you are, and you're just on the threshold of what you are and can be. Mr. Insurance agent who just kind of works and pays taxes and watches his TV show and eats dinner and goes to bed. You can be so much. You can wake up tomorrow and be 100 times past that. 1,000 times past what you are and what you've believed yourself to be. You are a quantum force to be reckoned with in the universe, as is every sentient being, every human being. So I would put in some kind of an alarm clock or an awakener that says take a look at what you are deferring to lawyers and judges and doctors and politicians, and just kind of saying they'll take care of it. Well, they're not taking care of it. Obviously, they're not taking care of anything except defrauding you and driving your Titanic into the iceberg.
Except for filling up their pockets,
just filling up their own
and not caring what happens to the next generation.
Yeah. So
so it's time for humanity to claim back, and to start claiming and stop complaining. And we'll talk about that in another show.
Right.
That's definitely something we'll talk about in another show, which is the common law stuff that we could do, because this is a common law country that we live in, so we might as well take advantage of it. But the other thing that I'd like to put into the container is a vehicle, a